We are just 11 days away from Marvel's Spider-Man 2 being in our hands. I can't even believe how insane that is to say. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I currently have the game right now. A thank you to PlayStation Canada for the review code. You're going to be able to hear my thoughts on the game on October 16th. But that doesn't mean that there still isn't some news to cover here on this channel. The same PlayStation website that gave us some details about character bios and some villain bios also gave us a good look at the open world and some notable places that we can visit. Beyond that, Brian Intihar and as well Yuri Lowenthal and in general the cast of Marvel Spider-Man 2 did an interview for Marvel.com where they dished a little bit on the game and gave us some tiny extra details. Let's get into all that right now. So like I said, Marvel.com published an article the other day that went over an interview that they did with the cast members of Marvel Spider-Man 2 as well as Brian Intihar working over at Insomniac Games. They mentioned here over on their website when Venom and a host of other vile villains bear down on Marvel's New York in Marvel Spider-Man 2, it will take everything Peter Parker and Miles Morales have to keep the darkness at bay, and that's entirely by design. Speaking to Marvel.com, Insomniac Games senior creative director Brian Intihar revealed the goal for Marvel Spider-Man 2 was always to tell a story worthy of two Spider-Men, and that meant creating challenges that will test Peter and Miles in all new ways. And I really like that they have been going with this message for a while now when it comes to marketing this game. It's called Spider-Man 2. Both the Spider-Men are on the cover for the game for a reason. Everything that Insomniac has said up until this point makes it sound like they want Miles to be just as important in this story as Peter is. Brian Intihar is even quoted here in the article saying, "I think what we wanted is to have a story with adversaries that are worthy of requiring two Spider-Men to save the day. Hence bringing in this guy, Tony Todd, and seeing Venom. And then also looking at our cast of Kraven and Lizard and others, they're really challenging our heroes in ways that they've never been challenged before, whether it's physically or psychologically." So yeah, really good stuff there. And it's true, they're bringing some monstrous villains here in Marvel Spider-Man 2 that's going to require two Spider-Men to take them down. Lizard is massive this time around, and Venom as well, from what we've seen, is just a monster. Continuing though from the article, Brian Intihar is also quoted here saying, "Then you just look at the scale of the game with doubling the size of the city with Queens and Brooklyn, adding new traversal abilities with the web wings, and then just a whole role that the Symbiote plays in both gameplay and the story. We knew when we said it's going to be called Marvel Spider-Man 2 that we had to earn that title, and I think that was the journey we wanted to go on." Once again, I really love what Brian Intihar is saying here, especially that part where he mentioned that you guys need to hit the thumbs up on this video. That cut deep. Marvel also spoke to Najee Jeter, the Miles Morales of the Insomniac Games, and it's mentioned here, likewise, Miles Morales actor Najee Jeter weighed in on how Brooklyn's inclusion in Marvel Spider-Man 2 will impact his character. Najee Jeter was quoted here saying, "Miles is definitely growing up, so we see him go through the changes from a young high school kid, going through the puberty changes and just through the manhood changes, and then now becoming his own. He's definitely owning a lot more of what he's become. So just with Brooklyn being involved and just with everything in Marvel's New York, it kind of makes him his own, just through the ruggedness, the fast-paced moving, the villains, everybody that's in Marvel's New York sums up Miles' behavior as he's growing into this equal to Peter." I think that is great, and I think that that's definitely true. You know, at this point in time, I believe it was mentioned that this game takes place about 9 to 10 months after the events of Spider-Man Miles Morales. So Miles at this point is about almost a year into being his own Spider-Man. And with Peter being his mentor, teaching him all the tricks, and as well passing the torch to him in his own game, saying, "Hey, I need you to take care of New York while I go to Symkaria with MJ," clearly Miles is capable. And you know, in case anybody was wondering, Miles Morales is absolutely, unequivocally Spider-Man, just as much as Peter is. Let's not forget, okay? Let's remember what was said during that TV spot that they put out, that CGI trailer.
"Neither will I. This is my power, my responsibility. I am Spider-Man."
And it was also mentioned in this article by Yuri Lowenthal and Laura Bailey that you can visit Aunt May's house, and they were talking about how much they love that that's something that you can do and how important that is to the character of Peter Parker. And that transitions me now to the next part of the video. I wanted to talk about some open world details that we got from the PlayStation website. Like I mentioned in my last video, the splash page for Spider-Man 2 was updated to include some character bios, some villain bios, but also if you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll see the open world, the full open world for Marvel Spider-Man 2, and some landmarks that they pointed out to be specific places we can check out in the game. One of them being Aunt May and Peter's house. Peter's childhood home holds a lot of memories, both bitter and sweet. What clues to his past are hidden amongst the trinkets? That's interesting. They're clearly hinting that there's something there when you're exploring Aunt May's house. But then also on the Queen's side of the map, we can see that there is a Midtown High, the Forest Hills High School where Peter built his first Spider-Man suit. Will he sneak back into the chemistry lab to think up some brand new inventions? It's weird that they're asking these questions. It almost seems like they're hinting at things that you can actually do in the game. And hey, for Miles, there's Brooklyn Visions Academy. Miles aced a seriously tough test to bag a spot at this elite Brooklyn school. He's hoping he and Genki don't get caught passing Spider-Man related notes in class. And then towards the bottom of the open world on the new side of the map, we have Coney Island. The iconic Brooklyn landmark is the perfect backdrop for an epic showdown. Will Miles and Peter bring a different kind of firework to the pier? That is another interesting tease there from the PlayStation website, giving us some more details or some more hints about this open world. Then finally, back over in Manhattan, the side of the open world that we're pretty familiar with, we have the Emily May Foundation, Manhattan's newest startup for those who want to heal the world. With Harry and Peter at the helm, the odds are definitely in their favor. And yeah, the Emily May Foundation is absolutely going to be important in this game. We know that there's going to be a lot going on there. It's going to be pretty significant. I mean, it's named after both Harry's mother and then as well Aunt May. And that tagline, man, heal the world, that's been used a whole lot. And going back over to the Marvel website, John Paquette, who is the story lead on Marvel Spider-Man 2, had this to say. Tonally, I think what it does is exactly what Najee was saying. The city in the first two games had an energy to it. But once you go into the suburbs, you start to bring it down a little bit and you start to think about stability and the future and family. Whereas Miles is out there in the city, in Brooklyn and Manhattan doing his thing, these two in Queens, what are they thinking about? And of course, you know, he's referring to both MJ and Peter when he's talking about what they're thinking about. And then Yuri Lowenthal ended up replying saying, I guess you'll find out. And that very much is true. October 20th is not far away. This long journey is about to come to an end, or really the end is about to begin, because finally on October 20th, everybody's going to be able to get their hands on this game. The journey leading up to getting our hands on the game will have ended, but now begins our time to play it. And of course, like I said, you can keep an eye out for my review of Marvel Spider-Man 2 on October 16th next week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you got those notifications on. You do not want to miss the content that's coming your way. With that being said, let me now throw it to you guys. Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you think about these landmarks that are going to be available to visit in Marvel Spider-Man 2's open world? And also, what do you guys think about what the cast of Marvel Spider-Man 2 as well as the folks at Insomniac Games had to say about the game through that article that was posted on Marvel's website, which, by the way, I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to read that article in its entirety. Sound off with all your thoughts in the comments section below. Of course, if you enjoyed today's video, hit the thumbs up button. I've been Caboose, and I'll see you guys later.